Casemiro says he's planning to see out the rest of his contract at Manchester United despite falling down the pecking order under Ruben Amorim. The 32-year-old has 18 months left on his contract and says he'd like to remain in Manchester despite interest from other clubs. In an interview with Spanish outlet AS, Casemiro said, "I have to keep doing what I'm doing with a lot of respect and good behaviour. Of course, I'd like to play more. I don't know any player who doesn't want to play, and I want to help the club at this time. I face things with respect for my teammates and the staff, and above all, respect for United. I have a year and a half left on my contract, and I'd like to see it out here in Manchester. I'm comfortable here, and my family is too. They've adapted. We speak English. I'm very grateful to the fans and the club. I'm happy at the club. Happy on the bench? Of course not. That is something else." Well, Sam is here now to discuss all things at Manchester United. Good morning. Let's start then with Casemiro, shall we? He says he wants to play, wants to stay. Does he have a role, would you say, at Old Trafford?
Well, he has a role at the moment because Manchester United have all these injuries, especially in midfield. Obviously, he started the 1-0 defeat to Tottenham on Sunday, played the whole game again. That was pretty much out of necessity. But in context of since Ruben Amorim's come in, he actually hasn't played that much. 17 available matches he could have played under the relatively new Manchester United manager, but only 5 starts. And obviously you hark back to one of them being that 2-0 defeat at home to Newcastle in December, January, and that was, you know, a game that really sort of showed his weaknesses in the middle of the park. As you can see, Manchester United have only won 2 games out of the 5 that Manchester United that Casemiro has started. So it probably explains why he's only played 460 minutes. There's been an unused substitute 12 times out of that 17. But actually, in the whole context, you see that Ruben Amorim prefers other midfielders. Manuel Ugarte and Kobbie Mainoo seem to be the reliable options as those midfield pivots. Bruno Fernandes can also play there as well. We just haven't included him in this list. And Casemiro is right down there with Christian Eriksen and Toby Collier in terms of, you know, not playing too much under Amorim. I was actually at the FA Cup 3rd round win over Arsenal, and Toby Collier actually came on before Casemiro and Eriksen. So you actually wonder if Collier's fit if he was fit at the moment, would he actually be playing over Casemiro? So look, obviously it's a difficult situation for Manchester United. He's clearly out of favour and on so much money at Old Trafford, but you know, he's well within his rights to stay. He's got 18 months left on his contract, so you know, it's a difficult one for Manchester United at the moment.
It's difficult in a lot of ways for Manchester United at the moment. 12 defeats in 25 Premier League games after that defeat to Spurs at the weekend. Their worst run since, or the worst number of defeats at that stage since they were relegated in the mid-70s. The problems just continue, don't they?
Yeah, it hasn't really got much better under Ruben Amorim. If we have a look at the Premier League table since Ruben Amorim's come in, you know, 14 points from 14 games, could have drawn every single game. And, you know, the goal difference of -7, that means, you know, Manchester United haven't been beaten too heavily, but they haven't scored enough goals. You know, only the 3 newly promoted sides have scored fewer goals since Amorim has come in, and it's the same amount of West Ham. We've had their striker problems as well, with Nicholas Füllkrug out, with Mikel Antonio out. Everton have had their striker issues as well, with Dominic Calvert-Lewin injured, and Jai is now injured, but they've still managed to score more goals than Ruben Amorim's Manchester United. And out of those 16, remember, 3 of them came late on via Amad Diallo against Southampton. You know, so it could have been even worse. One of them came against Ipswich in their first game. So it's really, really poor standards attacking-wise for Manchester United.
Therefore, the question would be, what signs do we see that Joshua Zirkzee or Rasmus Højlund is the answer moving forward?
Well, both played 90 minutes against Spurs on Sunday, and Rasmus Højlund continued his sort of ineffective run in front of goal. In fact, it's been lasting all season. The fewest touches in the penalty area per 90. Rasmus Højlund has the worst record out of all the Premier League number 9s at the moment. It's an interesting one in terms of, you know, Joshua Zirkzee as well. He actually played as a number 10, and he sort of played a little bit off Højlund. And Ruben Amorim said after the game that this was actually the position that suits him best. So if Zirkzee's not the answer, and if Højlund's out of form, then Manchester United still have, you know, very few options up front.
Particularly given that some of their options are playing for other clubs and doing quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the other issue as well is that he's not getting much help from elsewhere. This is the worst 8 XG records this season. Bruno Fernandes is, you know, the 3rd worst, and Alejandro Garnacho as well. And yeah, there've been a few other issues as well by letting players go. And Antony is outscoring Manchester United in the last 4 games. His last goal, he did a backflip celebration. Who knew he had a backflip celebration? Because we haven't seen him score too many goals. But yeah, it's a problem for Manchester United at the moment. And yeah, and he's not the only one. Marcus Rashford had a good game for Aston Villa. as well. You were at the game and he seemed really sharp.
Yeah, he was bright, and we will see if he starts against Liverpool tomorrow night. Sam, thank you very much indeed.